Hello and welcome back to Happy Hour. Today we're going to talk about analytics and specifically a brand new feature that's very awesome, and that is tag management. Recently Google introduced a new product called Google Tag Manager, which is really simplifying how analytics is implemented. But it's something bigger than that. So let's talk about what is tag management. Tags are these little JavaScript snippets that go on the website, and every publisher, every advertiser that we work with has a little piece to go on. So AdWords has their own conversion tracking code and remarketing code. Google Analytics has its basic tracking code and all these advanced e-commerce and event tracking setups. Yahoo, we think about all the ad serving platforms. Everybody has a little snippet. Over time, these snippets get heavier and heavier, so suddenly there's a lot of code on the page. The page gets slower to load. But the real problem is every time a code has to be implemented, you got to go back to IT. So the IT department takes its own time, puts it through the quality checks, when it's not really needed. What tag management does is it creates this thing called the container. And that's just one piece of code that goes on the site. That one piece of code can power from the back end every other code that you need. So there's a lot of advantages to this. First of all, it's very easy to put the code in. You don't talk to IT anymore, the whole thing gets done in 5 minutes rather than 5 days. Second, a lot of them have great technology that load up these things asynchronously, which means that everything loads faster. We're not waiting for JavaScript to finish loading before the next one, right? So it's all happening in parallel. So there's a lot of advantages to tag management, and Google Tag Manager is a great first step to that. It is not, however, the most mature platform. It has a lot to learn from other software. Some of the other notable tag management platforms out there include OpenTag, UberTag, and Telium, right? And you can search for tag management solution and lots of other platforms out there. Nevertheless, Google Tag Manager promises to be free, and it is used by Google, so we know it is scalable. So today what I want to talk about is 5 things that Google Tag Manager doesn't have right now, or it needs to do to make it better. Number 1, it needs to have a much better interface. If you've used any other tag management solution and then you log into Google Tag Manager, you'll find it is a mess. It may be a dream for programmers, but for marketers, it's very confusing. There's all sorts of new terms like macros or conditions, and everything works in regular expressions. So it's a bit too complex. It needs to be cleaned up and become a lot easier to use. Number 2, it needs support for a lot more tags. While it does a good job right now of the AdWords conversion code and Google Analytics basic tracking, there's a lot for it to do. It doesn't even cover a lot of the Google Analytics and AdWords advanced features, let alone Yahoo, MSN, ad serving platforms, and lots of other things that advertisers need. You only need to go to the website of OpenTag, UberTag, or Telium to figure out all the other tags that they support. So Google Tag Manager really needs to step up and support all these things out of the box. Number 3, it needs to solve the biggest pain with Google Analytics, which is cross-domain tracking. With Google Tag Manager, it should be a lot easier to support cross-domain tracking across multiple sites. 2 scenarios where you have a booking engine or a registration site on a different domain or subdomain are needlessly complex. There needs to be different pieces of code, there need to be links and JavaScript functions involved. All of this stuff Google Tag Manager should be able to handle automatically. Number 4, Google Analytics is actually very powerful when it comes to doing advanced UI tracking. For example, if you have a mobile app or if you have a long registration form, Google Analytics has all the features you need to track within those to see where people are dropping off, what parts of that form or app they're using, but it's very complex to implement. What Google Tag Manager needs to do is have ready-made templates for people to analyze complex features on their site. When it comes to things like sliders, videos, apps, all of these things, there should be templates in place that implement those advanced Google Analytics features and make it very easy to track. And number 5, the other big pain point with Google Analytics is tagging URLs. It's taking your campaigns and creating custom URLs to send traffic there. Because Tag Manager promises to ease all tagging pains, it should have an easy interface for a non-techie person to log in and say, hey, I'm running this campaign on Facebook and I'm writing this post about it, and it should automatically create your Google Analytics or any other campaign tags with that. So campaign URL tagging needs to be in there. So those are the 5 features that I think Google Tag Manager needs to have in order to step up and play with the big boys of tag management. If you're an enterprise with advanced features, you probably want to look to us first and figure out if they meet your needs better. But for most small businesses, if you don't already use a tag management solution, where it's just a team of 1, 2, 3, 4 marketers and you don't want to keep going back to IT, Google Tag Manager is a great start, and you should get beginning and start using it on your site already. That's it for now. We'll see you next happy hour.